Carney's surprising pivot from confrontation to cooperation with America. Introduction. What happens when a political strategy that once fueled success suddenly collides with economic reality? In a speech that caught many observers off guard, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney appeared to signal a major shift in Canada's approach toward its most important ally and trading partner, the United States. And some critics are asking a difficult question. Was writing off America a costly mistake? A reflection on the past. Speaking before the Economic Club of New York, Carney shared a lesson he says he learned from Finnish President Alexander Stubb. According to Carney, people often do three things: over-rationalize the past, over-dramatize the present, underestimate the future. At first glance, it sounded like a philosophical observation, but many listeners believe the comments carried a deeper message about recent tensions between Canada and the United States. The trade war challenge. For months, Canada and the United States experienced growing friction following tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump. During that period, Carney frequently emphasized Canada's need to reduce dependence on its southern neighbor. At one point, he even declared that the traditional Canada-U.S. relationship was effectively over. But in New York, the tone was noticeably different, a major change in direction. The Prime Minister's office described Carney's speech as outlining a strategy focused on building strength at home, diversifying international partnerships, creating a new economic and security partnership with the United States. While no direct admission of error was made, critics argue that the speech strongly suggested a reconsideration of previous positions. Lessons from Brexit. Carney also reflected on past crises, including Brexit and the 2008 global financial crisis. He explained that in times of uncertainty, the correct path often becomes obvious only in hindsight. According to Carney, very few people identified the right solutions during those turbulent periods. Even fewer had the confidence to act on them. His comments reignited discussion about his role during the Brexit referendum. As governor of the Bank of England, Carney publicly warned that leaving the European Union could threaten financial stability and potentially trigger a recession. Critics remember, not everyone agreed with Carney's Brexit warnings. Some political figures accused him of exaggerating risks and influencing public opinion. Others argued that central bankers should focus on preparedness rather than political debates. Those criticisms continue to follow Carney years later. Building a stronger Canada. Returning to the present, Carney told his New York audience that Canada is concentrating on areas it can control. He highlighted stronger international partnerships, greater economic resilience, increased national independence. But he also emphasized that these goals are not meant to weaken ties with America. Instead, he argued that a stronger Canada benefits both countries. The remark that turned heads. Then came the statement that sparked headlines. Carney declared, "A strong Canada will help make America great again." The comment immediately drew attention because it appeared to contrast sharply with earlier rhetoric about moving beyond Canada's traditional relationship with the United States. For many observers, it marked a dramatic change in tone, rediscovering mutual dependence. Carney reminded the audience that Canada and the United States have worked through disagreements for centuries. He stressed that shared values, common interests, and deeply connected economies continue to bind the two nations together. Rather than separation, he emphasized cooperation. Rather than division, partnership. Praise for America. The Prime Minister also offered warm praise for the United States. He called America dynamic, resilient, innovative. And he suggested that the country's values remain an important guide for the future. He argued that future prosperity should include a renewed partnership between Canada and the United States, particularly in industries facing intense global competition. A question of consistency. However, critics remain skeptical. They point out that Canada's message toward the United States appears very different today compared to just months ago. Some are asking, if Canada is truly predictable and reliable, Why did its message change so dramatically? Was the earlier rhetoric driven by political necessity? And what has been the economic cost to Canadian families and businesses? The bigger debate. Supporters argue that Carney successfully strengthened Canada's position during a difficult period. Critics counter that fear and uncertainty surrounding Canada's largest trading partner may have carried significant consequences. The debate is far from settled, but one thing is clear. The conversation has shifted from distancing Canada from America to rebuilding a new partnership with it. Closing thoughts. As Canada and the United States navigate a changing global economy, the future may depend less on confrontation and more on cooperation. Whether Carney's new approach proves successful remains to be seen, but his message in New York suggests that the next chapter in Canada-U.S. relations could look very different from the last. What do you think? Was this a practical course correction or a political reversal? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like plus follow for more Canada updates. Canada Common, Untold. Stay informed, stay protected. Follow for more Canadian news and analysis.